at WCU reimagines the first year experience course. Our goal is for Life Design to help you as students take those big, sometimes overwhelming questions about college and your future and break them into smaller, actionable steps. Steps that you can start in your very first semester by building a Life Design plan. Ultimately, this is about keeping you on track for on-time graduation so you can move on to achieving your own goals beyond college.
Right. So what is life design? Well, it's an idea that comes out of what's called design thinking. So this actually comes out of fields like architecture, engineering, where designers tackle these complex problems by starting with the person and not the product. So this mindset encourages things like curiosity, trying new things out, making mistakes, and then reflecting on what you learned to perfect your design.
Yes, and Life Design takes that same approach of thinking and applies it to a different kind of problem, figuring out your path, including things like majors, careers, and really what you want your life to look like. But this isn't your typical rigid 5 or 10-year plan. It doesn't start with a fixed outcome.
No, instead it starts with purpose. What drives you, what your goals are, what you value, not your parents, your high school teachers, or anyone else who might have tried to steer you toward a certain path that just wasn't right for you. So from there, you'll move through the phases of inspiration, ideation, implementation, and then adaptation to build a unique design plan that grows out of that purpose.
Yeah. So let me start with an example of how it works. Let's say your goal is to live in France. You've never been there before, but you know you really want to live there. So you could pack all your bags, you could buy a one-way ticket, and you could hope for the best.
Good luck.
Yes. And so on the other hand, with Life Design Plan, you could pursue that same goal by taking a small step to test it out first. Instead of hopping on the next plane to France, you could start by actually talking to someone who lived there.
Like Alinda in the Office of Student Retention.
Right. Or another option is you could apply to study abroad in France.
There's actually a course going to France during spring break. So one step you could take would be to talk to Dr. Rush, who's leading the trip.
Perfect. Or a small step, it's just taking a class like French 101.
So moving to France today is a big commitment. This is kind of like picking a major when you've never even taken a single course or even shadowed someone in the field. So what happens when you don't love it like you thought you would? Building a life design plan will help you take those simple steps to experiment and test if your plan is a good fit. And if it's not, it gives you the tools to pivot and adapt your design.
And in this Life Design curriculum, there's lots of opportunities for broad campus involvement. Your plan will include the campus resources that are uniquely relevant to your design. We hope to see students take steps towards engaging with high-impact practices like research or service learning or internships, as well as learning from the expertise of our faculty and staff.
And in programs like this across the country, this approach has helped students build self-awareness, explore their options, and choose majors that really fit and stick with them. These programs also help ease that transition into college, which we know can be a tough adjustment. And more broadly, when we think about the goals of this project, we also know that first-year experience courses play a role in student success, including improving graduation rates.
Yes. So one of our student leaders, Ethan, is here to share his thoughts on why life design would be valuable for our first-year Catamounts, including himself when he was debating which major to choose.
I am this is like my 4th year at Western, and I've been a peer mentor to freshmen. I've been a pal during the summer sessions, and I've also gone through USI myself. And I guess the gist would be that in my experience and from what I've heard from a lot of freshmen, incoming students, is that the way that the current curriculum is set up it doesn't really flow the way that I guess is natural, if that makes sense. I don't want to say that it doesn't help because I think there's a lot of resources that are available to students, but I think that something maybe more personalized might be a better approach.
So, how will we make all of this happen? First, we'll build this over a 3-year period. The first year is all about designing the course, bringing in partners from all corners of the campus to shape the curriculum, think through how we'll measure its impact. And then in year 2, we'll test it with a small group of instructors and students. Then in year 3, we will expand life design to fully replace USI 130, our current first-year experience course.
Yes. And before we end this video, I want to share some feedback from my friend and colleague, Brian Boyer, who very lovingly told me that students don't always find our current first year experience course very helpful. So we hear you, and we've really been searching for the answer to how we can make that course relevant to you and your experience while setting you up for long-term success here at WCU and beyond. Life Design checks all those boxes for me, and it feels like a major improvement to our first year experience course. The more I've learned, the more I love all the possibilities that you will create for yourselves with Life Design. And I'm looking forward to all the ways you actively engage with all of the opportunities that WCU has to offer. We are so excited about this project, and we want to thank you for taking the time to learn about it with us.